Do you know what Cowboy Butter is?
Cowboy Butter? Yeah.
Oh, you do? What is it?
I'm an American.
Yeah, okay, but
Uh,
what is
it,
it? Because, like, I just made a big pot of spaghetti today and I used it because my sister made it. I have no idea what it was. I'm like, let's give this a shot. And then it tasted
it's
really
just
good.
a compound butter with a lot of good herbs and spices in it. It's not that complicated.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
let's get it started, dude. So we promised JoJo's, but, we can't do that for reasons. So, we're
It
gonna do
was the
One Piece.
holiday week. I was fucking busy.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we're doing One Piece this week, dude. Woohoo! So we're gonna start off with one thing we discovered like 5 minutes ago, or I guess I discovered five. You told me
I
five
discovered
minutes
it
ago.
yesterday.
Yeah, you told me 5 minutes ago, which is Timire, one of the shorts YouTubers we frequent. Seems to have just stolen one of his like analyses from someone who happens to be a commenter under our videos.
Yeah, no, because Tamir steals tweets all the time. The other times I will see a tweet and then see him basically steal it. Like when he's talking about live action Smoker and Tashigi, one of the most trending tweets responding to it was, "This looks like low budget porn."
Yeah.
And then he made a video about it and made that same joke. And it's like, okay, that's obvious. This one's just funny because it's not like a lazy joke. It's like good analysis.
Yeah, and I guess like it's because like for other YouTubers, like if Morge did something like this, they'd be like, okay, but that's like 30 seconds of what's like a 20-minute video. I'm sure he's putting his spin on it for the most part.
Yeah.
But like because Tamiris is literally just like a 30-second video each time, there's no space for him to insert his own thing, so it's literally just him taking other things then not giving credit in any way.
Oh, and
shape,
also
or
he
form.
did it with a bunch of AI footage. Like he's like, you all know the S on Ace's tattoos for Sabo, while showing an AI Ace where the letters on his arm are not legible.
Oh, just a schlop YouTuber.
Yeah, so it's like legitimately good analysis was trending, and he's like, my analysis. He does this all the time. Like it's normal. He's a TikTok, YouTube Shorts guy, so most of his content is lazy recycled shit. It was just funny because I saw it and I thought I read that like 2 days ago, and I feel like I didn't read it from one of the big accounts.
Yeah, okay. So before we get to one of our big topics, let's get to, some recent chapter stuff. So we need to do a little update for one of our opinions. I think this was in the last Bad One Piece opinion, where we talked about Ohara's, new favorite ship, Loki x Fuka x Shirahoshi, and how, there seems
We
to
said
be.
it didn't make any fucking sense, and here's the thing. It still doesn't, which is why I'm really confused.
Yeah, like, okay, so we know that their parents had a relationship, right? And they teased the idea of them, like, getting married and stuff. But, like,
Yeah, and then
Shirahoshi,
like,
literally says, like, oh, no one's ever shouted at me like that. No one's ever
like,
insulted me like
I'll
that
be
before.
specific. No, I'll be specific. Like we literally get in the recent chapter, Shirahoshi is called the nickname that Loki is calling his Denden Mushi partner by. So it's like, oh, is it? But then lines because like the basic point is we hear lines like, oh, I experienced a recent horrifying trauma, and oh, I need to go, we're in danger. And the idea is, oh, the trauma was when when Charles tried to kidnap her, and the danger is maybe Caribou told Teach, and Teach is fucking jumping Fishman Island. Like that's the guess. But here's the thing, we also get lines like Loki says, we've been long friends, and he also does things like say, you'll yell at her, you're so weak, her. It seems to be a her. But then we look at Shirahoshi's first few chapters, and we learn that one, the guards outside the room can hear people inside the room. They can hear them talking. They ran into a room because they thought they heard Luffy's voice. And then Shirahoshi says, I've been a prisoner here for 10 years. Loki's been chained up for, I think, 14 years. I only have Megalo to talk to. So it's like, okay, I guess the assumption is she's telling the truth about the 5 years thing, the 10 years thing, but when she says I only have Megalo to talk to, he's my dearest friend, she's just lying.
Or, for some reason, Megalo ate the Denden Mushi and she thinks that Megalo is Loki. That would be his, yeah, that would be funny.
That still doesn't make sense. But then, like, Luffy, but then she cries and says, "Wah, no one's ever gotten mad at me." But when talking to Loki, the Denden Mushi says, "I've learned your mean exterior is kind of bullshit and you're nice." So it's like, oh, so Loki is mean to them on the phone. But Shirahoshi says no one's ever gotten mad at her. And then Luffy says, "You're a big weakling." And Shirahoshi cries and says, "No one has ever said something that horrible to me before." But Loki literally talks about how weak Mosa is. So unless that's a new thing, Shirahoshi would have been called weak before if it's her. The thing is, it should be her because like that's what's being implied. So I'm really fucking confused.
Yeah, is it just like an inconsistency and it just forgot? Like that's
Well,
possible,
I
I
feel
guess.
like that's like, but like removing Shirahoshi's isolation is like a major change.
It is really big.
And having the person she be talked to basically be like a more brash Luffy is like, well, that kind of removes the specialness of her meeting Luffy and Luffy changing her because it's like, why didn't Loki do that?
yeah. Hmm.
It's super strange. The joke I came up with is he's pen pals with Fukaboshi. Fukaboshi saw his sister almost get kidnapped and it scared the shit out of him, and he is also currently under attack. They sent the Denden Mushi hoping Shirahoshi would get it. Fukaboshi got his hands on it, and now they're just chatting all the time. That is my funny answer because
uh,
it's it's so fucking. I'm so confused. Because like it's like all the evidence does point towards it's just Shirahoshi, but then when you look at the nitty gritty, it's like, but that doesn't make sense though. So I am curious where it's going because it's really I am very fucking confused. I am lost.
all right. So next, this is like a kind of a big one that we like. I'm surprised we haven't talked about yet. It's it was like a theory, but like a lot of people took it like as canon or as and it's the idea that all D's smile before death.
Because in the Ohara's Ice chapter review, he was really confused because he's like, "Oh, the Rox wasn't smiling when he died, but I thought all these smiled during death." And it's like, wait, no, that's actually never been confirmed ever. That was just an old theory about why Teach is a fake member of the D clan.
Yeah, it's like because it's very explicit when they built it up with Roger and Luffy because it'd be like, oh, Roger smiled before his execution, and then Luffy did
And
the
so
same.
did
Oh, what does
Luffy.
that mean? And it's like, yeah, obviously, epic parallels between the two of them. But as the story goes on, you just get less examples of it or like
Yeah,
counter examples
because
like
there
Cobra a
because
few
their
years
arguments
back
is
we had Teach a
he
few years
didn't
before
seem to be
that.
smiling.
Yeah.
And the only thing is like with Teach, it's like, oh, he almost died and wasn't smiling. But it's like, okay, there's been plenty of times where Luffy almost died and was not smiling. Like both of his crocodile, both the times he lost a crocodile. uh, basically, when he lost to Kuzai, basically anytime he loses and nearly dies, he isn't smiling in that instance.
Yeah, if if it's in the middle of a major arc, it's like, okay, if I die, the rest of my crew's next. I don't think he'd die smiling, but if it
Yeah,
was
or
like,
if
but if it's only his life at stake and it's just like, oh, I fucked up and now Buggy's gonna chop my head off, it's like, maybe he'd
that,
be okay with
so
it.
be it. Yeah, because like Luffy would not smile dying regardless of situations. And then like the other famous one is like Saul. But the thing is, Saul dying with a smile is most similar to like Corazon died, in that they're smiling to try to mitigate the trauma the child watching them die is seeing. And
Yeah, that
in
that
that
reminds me. There was theories that the Don Quixote were secret D's, which
which
happened
like
with the
is still
Nefertari. Yeah,
possible.
which happened
Like,
with the
it's
and I
still
remember
possible,
it
but
was possible. Like it was popular with the Don Quixote because like A Corazon and B Doflamingo literally would never drop his smile ever, even when like Luffy hit him with the King Kong
yeah,
gun.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
just like, oh, dude, do these two do it? And but like I don't think that was true for was that true
Yeah,
for Homing or his dad? Did he die smiling when he was holding Roshinante? I
I think
forget.
he did. I
I
think
think
he did.
yeah. I think that's why it was a popular theory with them because like
Yeah,
all three
because
of
it
them
was
were doing that.
Corazon and him. Yeah, but the actual thing is like there doesn't seem to be like any concrete evidence of it because there are non-D clan members who smile in deadly situations, and there are D clan members who aren't smiling either when they literally die or when they definitely think they're going to die. So like it doesn't really track. It's kind of outdated, and I don't think there's much validity to
Yeah, the thing is
it.
like you don't have to specifically tie it to the D clan for it to have like narrative importance because like
Mhm.
it already literally does through Luffy and Roger, like you can't deny that. And then just just as a general trend to look like, okay, when this character dies and they're about to die smiling, there's probably a reason for it. Like, oh, they're gonna die without regrets, or they're doing it because they feel they have to for someone close by. Yeah.
There's all yeah, and the thing is like the reason differs. Like Corazon and Saul's smiles were very different than Luffy and Rogers. It's It's awkward. It's weird.
But dude, do you remember why Ohara was so confused that Rocks didn't smile? Because he
No.
led a great life and he saved his family. Like, why isn't he happy? Why isn't he happy to get stabbed in the back and turned into a puppet for Emu and then
Led a
killed?
Great Life is like so funny because Rox dies not knowing what the fuck happened to his family.
Yeah, you know, he was just like, oh, run away, I hope they're okay, and then he didn't see
and
Kuma
then,
get them off the island, so
and
for
then
all he knows, they died.
and then completely and utterly defeated in his goal.
Yeah.
Like Rox died confused and a failure. That's how he died.
You know, literally, like, this is how Rox dies. Like, okay, my family might be dead. My crew abandoned me. I have to beg one of my rivals and, you know, a marine to murder me because I've been turned into a puppet. And now I'm gonna just get stabbed in the back by these gods knights as I bleed out on the floor.
And the person who dicked on me is the person I wanted to overthrow.
Yeah.
Like, he's having a bad time.
That was a terrible, awful, no good, very bad day.
Yeah, he was having that was a rough one. So
and it's not even like he's not even like, you know, like Luffy or Roger's like, oh, it's about the journey, not the destination. So, you know, he'd be like thinking about the good old times. He's no,
because Rox doesn't like adventure.
Yeah, no, clearly, clearly everything he did was a means to an end. He didn't even care about having a pirate flag until way after he formed the crew. It was an afterthought for him.
And he's not very close with his crew because it seems like he probably views them more as like military assets.
Yeah, that's why they didn't care about him. He didn't care about them, it seems.
Yeah. Like, not particularly. And that is why it was just funny, because, like, yeah, it's just part of Ohara's deification of Rocks. Or, like, was he talking about, was it Kaido? Or he was talking about Loki. And his logic with Loki is that whether Loki was good or bad was based on how much Loki agreed with Rocks. As in, like, Rocks was the innately good position. And the more Roxy Loki was, the better he was.
I remember he had this one funny line where he said like I forget the context of it, but he said Roger owes Rocks a lot, so he'd probably do this thing after he died. It's like, what do you mean he owed him?
Yeah, Roger doesn't owe Rocks shit.
If anything, it's the opposite, because Rocks begged him for the mercy kill and he did it almost died trying to do it. If anything, Rocks still owes him one.
Like, there's literally nothing Roger owes Rocks. Like, it's not like when Rocks died, he's like, Roger, let me tell you the secrets of the world. There's this thing called the One Piece. You gotta go find it. Like, no, that didn't fucking happen. he just mercy killed the guy. He was like one of his like rivals he like kind of knew, and then moved on with his day. It's so strange.
Do you know why we put that on the list? Like, what reminded us of that?
What?
A video called Luffy the Misunderstood Character by a channel whose name I'm forgetting.
Yeah, so there's this, it's like several years old. It's back before One Piece had like its second big boom. And not second, like it's recent big boom. And in it, they pose that Luffy has had a character arc, which I agree with, but his character arc is that early on, Luffy valued his dream really highly and his friends not so highly. And it wasn't until Eni's lobby that Luffy realized he would rather die fighting to protect his friends than achieve his dream without them. And it's like, hold on. You think what?
Yeah, you wanna dial this back for a second? Like,
it's like, hold on. You tell me Luffy went to war with Crocodile and almost died twice for Vivi, but he doesn't care about his friends as much as his dream, even though defeating Crocodile has literally dick all to do with his dream.
And it's not even like he was thinking like, oh, I will opportunistically make Vivi in my debt so that I can use the alabaster. No, he's not. That's not what happened.
No, or like he had
nothing to gain.
His reading of Water 7 was even worse than most people's. Because most people are like, why is Usopp leaving over his ship? He's so stupid. This guy's take is that actually Usopp's delusions were right. Usopp is a detriment to the crew and thus Luffy's dream, so Luffy had to cut him the fuck off.
Oh
that
my God.
That was his unironic reading of the Usopp take. And it's like, that's what Usopp thinks Luffy is gonna do. And Luffy's mad at him because he would never fucking do that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Luffy would never kick off a crew member because they're weak. He would never do that.
And like, imagine like any of like the iconic interactions we all love so much, like Luffy giving Nami the straw hat, or like, you know, like trying to like
Why did
protect.
he do that, by the way?
Yeah. Why did he do that if
Why
he
did he
doesn't
fight
care about his friend?
Arlong?
Yeah, or like
No, he
like
needed a navigator. It was opportunistic.
yeah, or like okay, well you need to navigate. But what about like Usopp, who is just like a fairly unreliable guy by like
Yeah,
like the
why did
standards
he
of the rest
pass
of the
out from
crew.
blood loss? Yeah, why did he pass out from blood
There's
loss
literally
fighting
a
Kuro?
line where like he's fighting Kuro, and Kuro's like, "You have nothing to do with this conflict. Why are you interfering?" And he said, "There's someone in the village I don't want to die," and he's talking about Usopp, obviously.
Yeah, but
And it's
Puff,
like, all
did you
right, well, fair
consider?
enough.
But Puff, did you consider that actually Kuro was cooking when he said that? And
What?
what he was actually revealing is that Luffy's aunt is Bakina, and Luffy and Usopp are cousins. Did you ever consider that?
Oh, now I get it. He had to protect his
Because
blood ties so that in
yeah, because
case he
anytime a
died, that
character
Usopp
says
could carry on
Luffy
the will of
isn't
D.
related to this conflict, it
And
means he
so that they can
actually
get their
is.
D blood, and hopefully the Usopp's kid with the
Mm,
D blood can have sex with the celestial
mm,
dragon so that they can make the child of
mm,
destiny.
mm.
Obviously, okay, sorry about that. I should
Yeah,
have.
no, so that was a super weird analysis because it's like the analysis of Luffy's growth isn't that he learned to care about his friends. He always did that. Like one of his main like I also want to like an easy one. One of Luffy's easiest growths is Luffy coasts through the East Blue because he is so much fucking stronger than everyone else, except for Smoker because he can't hit him. And then he goes and he coasts through most of Baroque works because they're all still weaker than him. Then he gets to Crocodile and he gets fucking obliterated. And then Luffy's next big fight, Bellamy. He doesn't dick around and have fun with Bellamy. They don't bounce around the town together. He beats him in one hit and leaves. And then
Yeah,
you could even say that comes full circle with Gear 5, where Luffy wants to fight like a goofy dumbass, but the fights are getting so serious, it's getting less and less feasible for him to do that. And now with Gear 5, he can do both.
yeah. I think it was Crash River that first like pointed this out to me in like one of his videos. Where it was like, okay, so like Crocodile like pushed Luffy to his limit, like some of the arcs afterwards we
Mhm.
explore it, like with Foxy, who's like way weaker than him but can like fuck him up because he's super smart, and then NL, who's way stronger than him but is like Luffy's his kryptonite, so we do that. And then Lucci again has to force him to push limits, but his solution is like self-sacrifice, his gears. And then when that doesn't work, when he meets the admirals, it's just like, okay, you can either destroy yourself or you can just take 2 years off to try and train and get a more solid foundation for your strength to be ready for the big wider world. And now that he is ready
Mhm.
for the big wider world, now he has Gear 5, and like there we go, he can fight the way he's always
Yeah,
wanted to
because
now.
yeah, because that is one of the big things with like the new gen and the old gen is you basically have the three sections of like in over their head, has trained enough, is procrastinating. Kaido and Linlin are procrastinating. They keep saying, "Oh, if I just get this one last thing, then I'll be ready to do what I want." But it's like, dog, you have been one of the strongest people alive forever. You're a bitch. And then you have like the people who are like in over their head, which is like, "Hey, kid, where's your fucking arm?" And then
It's
you have
okay, I
like,
can
"Oh,
beat Kaido, I just need another bigger metal arm. I just need more metal this time."
and then you have Luffy, or like I would even argue Law because Law had been planning forever, who go in with a set plan but then act on it immediately.
Yeah, like not like with like Doflamingo being a warlord for like what was it, like 20 years. Law was like, okay, I'm gonna do it for 2 years. I did my thing. Moving on to better things now.
Yeah, like that's kind of the point. Like that
Yeah.
that's just like an easy example of development. So no, it's not that Luffy learned to love his friends. He always did that. What the fuck is wrong with you? That was silly.
All right. So, did you know that there's like an 8-hour One Piece video that I want to talk about?
You described it to me and I immediately didn't want to watch it. Why was that?
Uh, well, because it was 8 hours long and it was best guy ever.
Well, yeah, that's why. Oh yeah, because I've seen clips and like it's not interesting because Best Guy Ever is not interesting.
I disagree. I think he's interesting in regards to the One Piece community because he's one of the few YouTubers with really out there takes who I know for a solid fact is 100% genuine like all the time.
That's fair. That's fair. He's not a shill, at least.
So the thing is
Um.
like about like his One Piece 102 university lecture thing, like
Mhm.
basically to describe what the university lectures on like the PCP thing is supposed to be, is that it's supposed to be like a nerd explaining one of their hyperfixations in like a 4-hour slot, but
It's
like
the Boruto video.
Yeah, it's like the Boruto video we did, but like again, like I'd say like a lot of the older ones that he and his friends did were better because they were about more niche topics that you weren't
Well,
gonna
yeah.
know about. Like he did one on Kingdom Hearts and the story of Kingdom Hearts, which like
Hmm.
you know like is worth doing because even people who've played all the games can't keep up with all the stupid fucking shit they throw at you. So like he will like you know explain the entire lore of it in like the
Hmm.
mobile games, you know how things get retconned with each new installment of the franchise and all that. So that's very interesting and cool. And you know I think it's but like when
Yeah.
you do
So
with one but
anyway,
when you're doing it with
he
One Piece, he was just explaining the plot of One Piece, which is a plot most of us get, and he'll just throw his own takes every now and again. I think it's very inefficient. I think it's like just like
I
it
think
doesn't
the
suit
most
the format.
disappointing Puff, I think the most disappointing part is in it. He has a part. This is a timestamp, Puff, and he made a YouTube short about it where it's called "Defining New Piece." And it's like, please do this because you and your stupid fans always talk about New Piece all the time and how One Piece is bad now. But the thing is, I think he knows how stupid his fans sound when they talk about New Piece because he just lampshades the whole time. He's like, when was good? When was Old Piece? Was it Chapter 1? Was it the Romance Dawn one shots? Well, you could really say we've gone downhill since then. He doesn't define it properly because he knows how stupid it sounds, even though saying One Piece bad now, One Piece good back then is like one of his only bits.
uh, I'll give him this. I like the fit he wears during it. I like the hat he came in on.
It's a good fit, but it's a bad camera angle. They need to move it a little bit.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, sometimes he'll throw a point and be that, like, you know, like, you know, I'll be like, yes, I agree. Which, like, you know, like, one of his first ones is that, like, there's a huge theory community that constantly picks at tiny details that are almost never relevant, but at the same
Mhm.
time, they will never even read the raw Japanese, which is like, yeah, you're right. You know, if they do care about
Hey
the theory
man,
culture
hey
that
man.
much, they should be
Counterpoint,
doing that.
counterpoint. Ohara makes terrible theories and reads the raw Japanese. You can do both.
And I think my favorite one, my favorite section in this whole like new block he did was when he failed to understand how a compass works.
No, Puff, I would defend this. I would defend this. I rewatched it. I understood what he was saying.
What was he
He
saying?
means that, like, if you're standing on the South Pole and you follow a compass east, he's not saying you won't go east, you will. He's saying you won't end up in the East Blue in One Piece, because the East Blue in One Piece is northeast. He
Okay.
means that. It's like, that's true. That's right. We were really confused, bro, because I just saw the clip you watched, and I was like, does he not know what east means? But no, he means if you are in the Deep South One Piece and you just go east, you'll never hit the East Blue, which, haha, very funny. I guess. Or like how if you're in the East Blue and you go straight west, you'll never hit the West Blue. You'll hit the North Blue and then hit the East Blue again. Which I guess is what he was trying to say. My favorite one is when he tried to argue that, oh, dude, everyone says the Revolutionary Army are the good guys, but did you ever consider the power hole they're gonna leave? When
Good faction either. Some people say the Revolutionary Army is the only truly good faction, and in intention, that seems to be true. But let's say they get their way, and the world government is overthrown, and in all the inevitable upheaval, the Marines are suddenly having a tough time policing the world. All of a sudden, that chaos that's been unleashed as the system blows up leaves lots of islands unprotected, and lots of innocent people victimized by pirates with no one there to stop them. Are those people wrong to resent the Revolutionary Army for this, and think they are the bad guys? No, because it's a matter of perspective, as the wise Doffy once told us.
they take out the Marines, then he puts in text, I know Dragon said he doesn't want to take out the Marines, but that's bullshit. Yes, he's gonna take some out and he will leave a power vacuum.
All right, let's say that like you know like the Marines take a hit or they take a while to reorganize after the world
Mhm.
government's destroyed, like and you know a few islands are destroyed by pirates in the meantime. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a good thing, but the alternative is way worse because we know for a fact that at least one island is getting destroyed every 3 years at bare minimum, probably more whenever you
And
know there's stuff
and the
like
super duper slavery in industry.
yeah, also that, or also just the fact that they're sinking the entire planet slowly but
Yeah.
surely. Like, so
No,
like, so like the alternative is way worse. I think anyone like looking at the two options, like, well, Dragon's right. He's right.
Well, yeah, no, Puff. It's kind of like a moral. It's the difference between like, yeah, dude, even good things will have repercussions, and oh, it's morally great. It's like the Civil War, Puff. It's like the American Civil War. It's like, yeah, dude, when the Union won and got rid of slavery, that hurt the Southern economy. It's like, yeah, that's true, but also slavery is gone. So no, it's not a, oh, dude. both sides were right and wrong. It's like, no, getting rid of slavery was right. Are there going to be some slight drawbacks for a little bit? Yeah, but also shut the fuck up. It's the better decision. Shut up.
Another one is that like I know that he is the type of person who like hates using any material outside of the manga, or, like including the anime, the live action. He says like those, like even the anime should barely exist. Like he's that
Should
much of a
bear- So funny.
he's that much of a purist. Like he'll say like I would trade every single One Piece movie and special and whatever stage play just for like one extra chapter on the of the manga. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I understand.
I
what you're
don't. That's
saying.
fucking weird.
No, I wouldn't, because like again, like the movies are fun, even if they're like not as good as the actual manga.
The movies are
just, like,
fun. Some of the OVAs are a fucking blast. Fuck you. Oh, I have to pick
Django's
between
Dance
the
Carnival.
Django Dancing Carnival and an extra chapter. I'm taking the Dance Carnival. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to wait an extra week to get the final chapter of One Piece. Like, it's not that big a deal to me, but like I get where he's coming from, but like he still uses the Viva cards solely to try and justify calling Yamato a her, and it's just like, dude, I get it, whatever, it's weird.
Well,
Like
Puff,
you don't
I
have
actually
to
know
be
the
right.
best guy ever.
You don't
Best
have
guy
to
ever
be
has
right about
always
this, but
been,
the fact that
silly
you
with trans
specifically,
characters.
okay, but the fact that you specifically are like using the Viva cards is like, no, you shouldn't. You specifically should
You
not.
of all people.
Like it's
No, you
okay.
know what's
Like
funny?
I don't care if you call Yamato her, like whatever. Like, but like the fact that you of all people will use the Viva cards, which are already shaky as fuck with all the mistakes that are in them, would use that.
No,
Like
Puff, it's kind of funny how like it's like he's almost falling into the trope of, it's like, yeah, dude, I'm an original purist. That means I want Tifa to have big titties. What's that? Non-source material makes it so I don't have to call a character by a pronoun I don't like. I accept that.
This
Yeah,
Tifa video is actually amazing. You should all go watch it.
No, it is. It's hilarious.
I know.
No, but
the best part of the Tifa video is like at the end where he's talking about Barrett's design and the shape of his head, how that wouldn't work in like a quote unquote realistic remake. And he says, "But listen, I gotta pick and choose my battles." And it's like, oh, so your battle was Tifa's chest size?
Yes, because he just wants titties. And then Puff, adding to that, actually, Best Guy Ever has always been really fucking dumb with trans characters. And I remember because he did a Hunter x Hunter video and he called Aluka a he, she, whatever. And I remember, I think it was Kraftsdorf who's like, Aluka's gender is not complicated. You're dumb if you can't figure that out. You're dumb.
It's so, because like I like agree with like the soul of his like like the core arguments of his Tifa video is just that like, but like it should be about like, and he says like he cares more about the outfit and the design overall than just the chest size. He just focused on that because he thought it'd be funny, I think.
Well, no,
it is such a
basically,
good video.
Best Guy Ever
should
is
watch it. It's
Best
so
Guy Ever
funny.
is just Best Guy Ever is just a chud tuber. That's all he is. But he can be funny from time. So he is a dumbass. He's really stupid, but he can be funny from time to time.
Yeah, and one other thing, he says one of the reasons he doesn't like the inclusion of Nika and Luffy being a mythical zone is like, did Luffy get a strength boost from his zone, and that's why he was able to climb the mountain of drum and all that? And it's just like, okay,
What?
he's like, oh, but it wasn't Luffy's own effort that made him climb the mountain of drum. Like, was it the zone boost given, or like his punching power came from the zone? It's like, okay, I understand your fear because you don't like that, like some aspects of the past have changed due to Nika. Like I understand that completely, but like here I think it's just him being paranoid, because you look at Kid Luffy after he eats this fruit and he doesn't have strength.
He's so fucking weak. He's so fucking weak.
He's pathetically weak. So I don't think that like
Also, oh no, is Luffy's devil fruit making him punch harder? Yes, that's what the point of that's why he stretches back first, to do more damage when he punches. That's the point of the fruit.
It's just like, oh no, does the fact that the fruit gave him like a 10% strength buff gonna like take back all the emotional power of him climbing the mountain to drum to save
like,
Nami?
No, because it's not like his mindset has changed. It's stupid.
This is just one thing that he said that one more thing. A character being revealed to have a brother is a retcon to him. So just like
That's
any
not
new
what a
information we
retcon is.
learn, it seems that the way he described it, like any new information we get is a retcon, like a quote unquote retcon maybe,
Dude,
which is like
dude,
that's
I
not
can't
how that
believe
works.
Robin's backstory and Nami's backstory and Zoro's backstory and Chopper's backstory. Those were all retcons.
Yeah, every single
Because
one
we
of
learned
them.
about those after we met the character.
Like I really think like if you're the example retcon should really specifically only be used in cases where like some new element conflicts with the past of the story. Like it doesn't make sense to me to talk about or use that word in any other circumstance.
Now, it's people love fucking slinging that word.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
All right, enough
So-
about him now. Unless you have
What
something
about
else.
that dumbass? All right, who's next?
Okay, next is dude, destroying the red line would achieve every Straw Hat's dream.
This was from Ultimate Yonko, who is awesome because he has like 2015 normie brain, and I love him. But
He's like a little time capsule.
he's awesome. But he argued that every Straw Hat's dream is done by destroying the red line. Watch this. Puff, I'm gonna try my best to remember these. I got this. Okay. So the obvious one is when you destroy the red line, all the seas are one. It's to all blue. Ignore the fact that Sanji can't fucking fish in one place. He has to go over the whole planet, so it doesn't count. But like that's clearly one. Next is okay, let me think of who else. Frankie's. He forgot that Frankie's dream is to make a ship that can do the same trip that Orwell Jackson did. He think it's the vague, it can sail the whole world, and this is now easier without the red line.
Honestly,
Not impossible.
He's probably one of the easiest one. You could just find easier, just like but when they reach the red line again, it would mean that they have like crossed the whole thing and done the same journey that the Orwell Jackson did.
No, but it's funny because it's like I think because I'm pretty sure he misinterprets it as Frankie's dream is to like sail the whole world. And also, the red line doesn't stop that. It makes it more annoying, but it doesn't stop it.
Yeah.
And I assume it's the same with Nami's maps. It's easier without the big red line in the way, which is not the same as it was stopping her. It was just easier now.
Actually, like, wouldn't
okay.
it like complicate Nami's dream because you have to rework huge parts of this map? Like, oh fuck,
To
with the
be
red line
fair,
gone,
the rework
the
is just
entire
putting some
structure of
wall.
the entire
Okay.
structure of our geopolitical sphere has changed.
I don't know why you added political to that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, that was funny. And then for Chopper, I think he argued it's easier to find herbs to make his miracle cure because he's one of the guys who think Chopper wants to make a one medicine that cures everything. He thinks that'll be easier to do if there's no borders. It's like, I mean, I guess maybe he brings up Brook, which is like, yeah, I guess it'd be cool if you blew up the red line, and then literally Laboon's on the other side.
Yeah, I'm down with that one.
And then Zoro's was if you destroy the red line, it means you've traveled the whole world, and if you did that, you're probably the greatest swordsman. Sure, you haven't beat Mihawk yet, but you're cool enough that you can probably get the title through swagger alone.
Dude, I'm just imagining they're about to show this. Like, all right, send the can. It's like, we can't. Mihawk's in front of us. It's like, I am the secret god's knight, Mihawk. You will not destroy the red line as long as I stand. Then Zoro's like, hold on, let me do this. And then he's having an epic battle, trying to defeat Mihawk before the cannon's ready or whatever.
I just remembered the most insane one was Gene Base. He said that by destroying the red line, fishmen will be able to move around easier, and racism is gone now. It's like, hold on.
Wait. The red line doesn't obstruct fishmen at all. They can swim under it, like, easily. They're the group least affected
They are
by
literally
it.
the least affected. It's so funny to imagine you blow up a big rock and now, dude,
Racism
if we got rid of,
dies.
dude, if we got rid of Stonehenge, all bad beef between the Irish, the Scottish, and the British would disappear. We just need to get rid of fucking Stonehenge, and it'll be great.
Guys, if we
It's
just
like-
blow up Mount Everest, racism will die.
Dude, if we blow up Mount Everest, China and India are now best friends. It's like, what are we talking in Nepal? They're all besties now. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. What are we talking about? And then Luffy's was like, oh, you need to blow up the world to turn the whole world into one place, one big piece. It's like, okay, fun
Okay,
theory, I
if
guess.
that's like the one piece, then like, yeah, okay, we got one.
Sure. Yeah, it's very funny. because it's nonsense. He also made a video where he's like, theories I think are guaranteed to happen, and one of them is Chopper is a mythical zone, and his evidence is just it's an old theory, and his fruit doesn't have a suffix because it's not like human fruit model, it's just human fruit. But it's like, okay, so let's look at the cow fruit. What if you are just a cow? What model are you? It's so funny. What were the other theories? He was like convinced. It was like theories I'm convinced are going to happen. What were the other ones?
I don't remember. Honestly, we haven't even explained like how all of his shops. We didn't get to like Robin or Usopp yet.
Wait, what were Robin and Usopp's? Can you explain those to me? Oh,
I
Usopp's
don't
is just
remember.
Usopp's was the same logic as Zoro. It's just, oh, you've done a great thing. You're a brave warrior. Robin's. I don't. Is it just
The
it's
final
easier to
poneglyph is
find-
inside the red line. We have to blow it up to, unearth it.
Oh, his second theory is the destruction of the red line, which is where he did the whole every Straw Hat's dream comes true. His third theory he's most convinced of is an L's coming back, which is like, I mean, fucking maybe.
Maybe.
Weird you're so convinced of that. Oh, his fourth theory is that the personality of Nika is going to take over Luffy. And it's like, wait, that's one of the theories you're convinced is going to happen? Not like Blackbeard kill Shanks or something. It's that.
Yeah, I remember like Best Camper actually talked about that theory in his video.
Oh,
I
and
think
then
he
he
said
brought-
like this. I
oh.
think he brought up as like this is the final cope theory to get rid of Nika and make him the villain, so that my hatred will be justified.
And then it was Buggy's related to rocks, which sure, that's like a recent hype theory. And then the other one is that Rox's soul is like inside a teach or some shit.
I don't know how that
Just
happened.
odd choices. You think you'd pick like actual like hyper popular theories with a lot of evidence or something. Like, like Blackbeard 3 devil fruits.
Yeah. God, I'm so surprised because like if any like major long-standing popular theory was gonna come true, if I had to bet on it, like I think I would bet on Blackbeard 3 devil fruits.
It's definitely up there on the list of ones I think are likely.
Yeah.
All right,
All
what's
right. Next is it's not Sakazuki Kuzan, it's Sakazuki Dragon.
Okay, this is a realization I had. We were watching, I think it was that guy who likes doing like Kuro as a CP9 agent theories. That guy who we do like. He makes good theories. We've talked about him before. What's his fucking name?
Crab Cafe.
Crab Cafe. He's great. But he did one of his Dragon Sakazuki theories, and in it, what you quickly realize is people forget that the relationship they think Sakazuki has with Dragon, he already has with Kuzan. Like, oh, a Marine buddy that joined around the same time as him, and they rose through the ranks at the same rate. They were together on major missions, but then they had a falling out over their sense of justice, and one left the Marines and joined an organization that directly opposes them, while the other became fleet admiral. It's like that's Sakazuki and Kuzan. You just described Sakazuki
and Kuzan.
That's their dynamic. They literally fought over it. Sakazuki took Kuzan's leg. And you think the most important dynamic in his life is Dragon?
And also, like, he has like a 10-day epic battle with Aokiji to decide the fate of the Marines and how they will shape the world in the years to come. And then, like, because he had this one line about Luffy being Dragon's son, it's like, oh, Dragon's his ex-boyfriend who he's really sad left the Marines.
Yeah. No, it's so funny too because it's like Sakazuki spared Kuzan because they were old time friends. Like that's how Jinbei basically puts it, and it's like that's insane,
right?
Sakazuki spared someone. Sakazuki spared someone. You say? Oh, I think these two are probably pretty fucking close. No, it's so funny because it's like they just want to take away. It's so weird because Kuzan's still a big name. So why are they ignoring that obvious dynamic to instead have Dragon filling?
Right, this isn't like Smoker where it's like, oh, he lost a fight and isn't all that strong anymore, so let's just like forget he's a character and push it on to other people. It's like, no, that's not even true. Aokiji's doing things. He's doing things and he's very strong boy.
He defeated Garp pretty recently. It's so funny that people just like are forgetting that major important dynamic between the two of them. It's so strange. It's also funny because it's like, oh, dude, like Kuzan even fits the Garp's disciples thing that they want Dragon to have.
He does. Oh my god.
Kuzan is also Garp's disciple. He fits like every box. It's so funny.
The Kuzan Erasure.
It's so strange.
How weird would it be if we get the flashback of Sakazuki, and Kuzan rise through the ranks, and then Dragon's just there? It's like, hey, I'm here too, guys. I'm here
He's
too.
like, hi, it's me, Dragon. Hello, and they're like, hi, and then they never talk again. like, it's theoretically possible Sakazuki knew Dragon, but the fact that Dragon left the Marines so early at such a young rank does make me skeptical of how close their bond would have been.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we were bunkmates for like 6 months in training.
Opposed to Sakazuki and Kuzan, who were at Ohara together and chose radically different things, and yeah, like they've always seemed to rose through the ranks at roughly the same rate. I'm pretty sure they joined around the same time, or maybe that was in Film Z and not canon. If it is, fucking oops. They were vice admirals at the same time. They're admirals at the same time. Like they very clearly know each other. Like that's why some of the funniest things you get to see are just admiral bickering, because they clearly all know each other and don't like each other very much.
Yeah.
Like they have like that coworker that you don't really get along with closeness.
Unless you're Sakazuki and Kizu, then you get along so well that you invite him over to hang out shirtless in your bonsai tree clippings hobby.
I think it's funnier that he was doing that on his own, and Kizaru stumbled in and had a seat, and Sakazuki was too locked in on his trimming to tell him to leave. He was gonna sit here and chat with you, and he's like, fine. Basically, it's an interesting dynamic that I'm looking forward to, and it's weird no one even talks about it anymore.
Yeah. All right, so next we got Ohara's mural raindrops. You know what this is about?
Yeah, so this is just like another haha Ohara's poor editor. He kept saying that Shirahoshi's ancestor, presumably the old Poseidon, as we assume, on the mural is surrounded by raindrops, and his editor kept showing Poseidon without any raindrops. We're like, what the fuck is he talking about? So he pulled up the big mural and he's like, oh, he means the raindrops near the flying whale on a way higher up on the mural than where the mermaid is. As in, like, if you assume, like, there's no reason to say these are associated outside of assuming they are, because they're really far apart on the mural.
Yeah. That's all. Like, it would have been hard to include raindrops around the mermaid if you really wanted them there. Like, it would have been easy, but it's not.
The editor was just going through the PNGs they already had, and very clearly the editor couldn't find the raindrops because they weren't near the PNG of the mermaid.
It's so funny imagining the chain where it's like one of Ohara's script writers, writes their script, gives it to Ohara. He's like, all right, here to read it out. And he just knocks it out so easily. It's like, here, Mr. Editor, San has to be up in 3 hours.
And then
like,
the
where
editor
the fuck
is
are
like,
these raindrops? Where the fuck are these raindrops?
They're going through their giant folder of PNGs and like, where the fuck is it? I can't find it.
It's just like, or he knows, oh, the raindrops aren't there. He got it wrong. But it's like, well, I can't tell him that the video has to be up in an hour. I have to just crop it out and hope no one notices.
It's very funny.
Okay, next is Ohara thinks Garp let Ace be a pirate.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was just like, because like he brought this up into Russell, like, oh, I'm sure he was okay with Ace being a pirate because he was Roger's son, like he felt guilty
but
about
he was a lot more upset about Luffy, and it's like, can you read?
Yeah, he literally gave them the exact same treatment. It's like, you want to be a pirate? Yes. No, you don't. Punch. Beating the children.
Yeah.
Beating the children.
Yeah.
Beating the
it's
children.
so weird because it's like,
you're gonna both be Marines. You too, Ace. Get over here, Luffy. Punch.
Yeah, because
tie you to balloons and set you out flying.
Because Garp thinks that the best way they can be protected from the world's persecution is to work under the world system. And obviously, he thinks Ace needs that protection too, because Ace is son to the only man as hated by the government in recent years as dragging.
Yeah, and also if he wants to make protecting these kids a priority, the easiest way to do that would be like make the Marines and they can work with me and Sword. It'd be so much
in
fun.
his
It'd be
dumb,
cool.
in his dumb worldview, it doesn't make
Yeah,
any
yeah,
fucking
yeah. In
sense.
his ideal worldview, him, Aokiji, Smoker, no
Not
Marines.
Smoker. He doesn't know Smoker.
Right, he doesn't know Smoke yet. Like
Prince
him,
Roos,
Aokiji, Groose, Kobe, Smoke, Luffy, and
Helmeppo.
Ace. Maybe Sabo too if you want that kid, and he could come if he wants. But they all just work under me. We'll be so happy in Sword, protecting people who want to do genocides every once in a while, but otherwise being good people.
Yeah. No, that's why one thing that this actually reminded me of another take that people have had with Garp for a long time, which is, oh, Garp will redeem himself for letting Ace be killed by saving Luffy. And I don't think that's good enough because Garp has always stopped himself from hurting Luffy. He couldn't bring himself to punch him at Marineford. He let him get away at Ennie's lobby. Garp has always like had slightly kiddier gloves for Luffy. Is that because he's the only one he's biologically related to? Is that because he's the youngest? Who knows? But either way, I think that means the much more meaningful way to make up for what happened with Ace isn't to save Luffy or Kobe, people he's openly been kind to and had the kitty gloves for. It would be to save, like, Sabo.
Yeah.
Like, Sabo is the second Ace. Sabo is even more anti-government than Ace is. He knows Sabo worse than he knew Ace, so it'd be, like, nice if he saved Sabo and not literally his grandson.
Yeah, if we do get like Marine Civil War plotline, which I think is pretty. I think it's a pretty
Something
strong
akin to
possibility.
that is going to happen.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong possibility. Like him and Sabo teaming up would be in the cards, because he's gonna have to interact with Dragon again sooner or later, and Sabo's presumably gonna be standing beside Dragon at some point.
It's one thing I'm actually curious about. He does an Iroh thing. He helps Sabo overtake Goa Kingdom. uh, Both of them, and Stelly's like, isn't this excessive? I'm Stelly. Oh, that reminded me. Another thing. If you have it down, whatever, I'm going to say it now. People always try to bring up like parallels to try and predict Eam. But one parallel I haven't seen people make is trying to draw one between Stelly and Eam, because Stelly is someone without any royal blood who basically weaseled his way through potentially patricide, unclear, into a world ranking position, and he looked at the chair and said, "I want to sit in it," and they said no one can, and then later we see Eam sit in it, and it's like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is the person who is sitting in the chair similar to the guy who wanted to?
Yeah, like we know that like Davy Jones was a king of some sort, so maybe Davy was the original king of the world, and then Eam overthrew him, and it was like, no, I'm the king, everyone. I'm the king from now on. I'm the super king. It was always me.
Yeah, like Eam having a level of illegitimacy that he loathes could be interesting, and him just being like Stelly could be neat because it could add to the whole like similar to like Luffy and like because like Stelly and Luffy are actually have a funny similarity in the sense of they both have a desire to be a worldwide king just through different means and different desire.
They do. I guess so.
Like because like
Stelly
Stelly
conquers
wants to,
hockey? Question mark.
that'd be badass. Because yeah, Stelly wants to, through lying and cheating and basically seeming and potentially much worse things, wants to sit on the throne of the world, whereas Luffy wants to go be a dumb adventurer until ultimately he's the coolest guy around. Just it's interesting. Like I'm not saying that's a guaranteed parallel, but it's interesting that I haven't seen anyone try and draw it.
Right?
Because it's like Stelly wants the throne. He's the only person besides Eam who we have seen want to sit. I guess kind of Rocks and Teach now, but the only person we've seen outright say, "I want to sit on that chair. I want it."
I think it's just because like Stelly's not a cool enough character, because like you can just as easily draw parallels between Eam and Wapol as you could Eam and NL, but like people are always gonna go for NL first and Doflamingo
like
because
the
those
fact
are the
that
cooler
skinny
dudes.
Wapol looks like Eam. I'm so glad I found that out. What else do we got?
We have the Robinhoodification of Nika.
Okay, so Puff is very smart, and Puff knows that as Robin Hood stories got on, they slowly added his he is a noble backstory to get nobles to read it. It's like white guilt, but for being rich.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like originally it was about like a poor guy just be like, hey bros, let's just take from the rich and do that, and then it was like yay, but then like in order to sell the story to richer people, like and to get like the publishers they wanted to
They
publish the
added a
rest of the story.
self-insert element.
Yeah, they were like, oh, but you see, he was a noble too, who decided like, wait a second, I'm smarter than all the other nobles here, and I understand the system is not working like so well like this. We gotta change something, and that's why we're gonna steal from the rich and give to the
And it's
poor.
basically like a lot of people want Nika to not be a guy who became a pirate. They want him to be like, oh, they want him to kind of be like, if like Mio, not even Mio's guard, because they want him to be like if Homing knew what he was doing.
Yeah, they want to be like a class
like,
traitor of some kind, which
he's like, wait a
could
minute,
could
being
be
a
thing,
royal
but...
is wrong. It could be, but I would prefer not personally, just because it feels like the embodiment of pirates being just like one scrappy guy who wanted to go on an adventure fits more than the embodiment of pirates being like a good Bellamy.
Yeah, or like the fact that like Nika was originally like a guy who like slaves would like hope and pray to save them. I don't think it would be like, please, you specific nobleman over there, please help save us. I think it would be more likely that they like literally were wishing for a god of some sort than like a champion
Yeah,
arose. Maybe the
yeah,
devil
you can
fruit
even see that
manifested that way.
with like the most recent chapter, like literally like 2 days ago chapter, where like sure a noble helped with Fisher Tiger's rebellion, but Fisher Tiger is the one doing the rebellion because he was a slave and he feels a lot of fucking personal beef with this.
Yeah.
It's like it's possible that he's a noble, but like I personally would prefer otherwise. For just like it's like, oh wow, the first pirate was a king who was like, oh, I don't, you're not kinging well enough. Like I guess like an Odin-esque, but it's like I don't want that for like it's like Roger's not like that, and Roger is our current embodiment of piracy. So I'd kind of imagine the first pirate is at least similar to Roger, like maybe a lot worse. Wouldn't surprise me. Enjoyable, like kind of sucked, but like similar vibes.
I guess that's like what like the way we predicted it's gonna go is that like Nico was good, Joy Boy, and not maybe some oopsies here and there, and then Luffy's gonna have to clean up some of that mess.
To clarify, if Nico was even real,
right? If Nico was real,
there's a big if there.
There is an if there.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's I have this one weird note here, but I don't know what it means. Guys, this doesn't change anything. Armin Hockey already did this.
What the damn, you definitely wrote that being like, let's see if we remember this, and then we did not.
Yeah, we did. I feel like this is supposed to be like attached under like an actual like point, like an actual like point, and this is supposed to be a note to go along with the topic. But I guess I don't remember. So let's go to comments.
Okay, we have a lot, so I'll skim. I didn't prep this because we were gonna JoJo before I got busy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. Holy fuck, we got a lot of comments. Are you guys ever going to cover One Punch Man? I mean, I guess maybe.
I would like to because there's a lot of interesting things to talk about between like the webcomic and the
But
manga.
I think we would have to like legitimately. I'd do a lot of I'd want to do a lot of research because as a weekly reader, I've experienced many of Murata's evil retconning the last 10 chapterisms, but I don't know how many times he's actually done it, and I'd want to look into that.
Yeah.
I wonder if Davy's will is something that's less like my descendants must retake the throne and more like the king of the world must be brought down. Well, I guess that's like they don't understand it then since since at the very least Rox absolutely made it clear he wanted to rule the world.
Yeah.
We got some good. Some people respond. Wow, because this is a bit ago. We're like, Rox kind of didn't have interesting dynamics. But one person did a really good comment on that, where not about his crew, but him not, because people are like, he's just on a grind set, man, so he can't have any friends. He's so cool. It's like, he could have neat dynamics. But someone brought up how like it's meaningful that he didn't have one with Roger because it kind of adds into like his failure thing of like because he failed to because he kind of it's like his 50-50, couldn't decide if he was a dick or a nice guy thing. He failed to have a strong relationship with anyone. So at the end, the man he has to beg to kill him is someone he doesn't really know that well. Like that's kind of part of the tragedy. Is like even that's alien. What else do we got? Let's see here. Man, there's a lot here. The fact that Rox is basically a good guy makes me reconsider if Blackbeard is the final villain now. I feel like it should make you reconsider it in the fact of if Rox is, old Teach got dicked on by something I noticed was that we didn't actually see Eva and Ginny being paw-pawed out of God Valley. I think maybe that means Kuma isn't gone yet. That'd be funny. How long did Kuma stay? Well, we know eventually he got jumped by Saturn. It'd be funny to see just how much he did.
He saved 432 people before Saturn punched
him. This guy left a comment because he was confused by something I said, but I clarified it, so we're good. Let's see here. I feel like we got good Rox dynamics, at least with Whitebeard. What is Rox's dynamic with Whitebeard, though?
Whitebeard was kind of a bro and was like, "Hey, I'll
like he
stick by
he has a bit of, it's just
loyalty."
like general like warrior honor code system thing.
Yeah, or like the fact that like we know that like he always wanted a family, so maybe he was like, "This is my crew right now. I have to make an attempt to be close to everyone if I want a family here."
Maybe, and then Rox attacked him, and he's like, "Ah, you're all scum. Fuck you." In his streams for 1164 and 1165, JD Legend went on a generational run of brain rot. About 30 minutes in, he says, Kaido's character was badly written because leaving things up to interpretation and subtext and subtlety is bad writing. But then he says, Kaido's line about wanting a crew where brutality is law is bad because there's no conversations he has expositing why he believes that.
What are you talking
He says that
about,
right
bro?
after saying no. He said that right above. He said Kaido's backstory is bad. Also, where did we learn that Kaido believes might is right? It's like,
what, dude?
It's like that's like the only thing his backstory very clearly. The only things his backstory spelled out like plainly is that he learned might is right as a child and he used to think maybe he could be Joy Boy.
It's like, dude, why were the curtains blue? Oh, 'cause the manufacturer made them that way. I think. I can't tell. The author didn't tell me.
Have you guys ever talked about the Kuina committed suicide take? It started from an old lie that falling down the stairs is a Japanese way of saying committed suicide, which is the classic weeb thing of, hey, in Japan, did you know? Complete fucking lie. Puff, it's like, I remember one thing people are doing on Twitter now is whenever people make up something that happens in Japan, they post that famous girl from North Korea who just makes up random lies about North Korea. Do you know her?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one on the Joe Rogan podcast.
There's no word in North Korea. There's no word for I. People in North Korea don't know what being an individual is. It's like, what are you talking about? Let's see here. What else do we got? One Piece is a story about questioning authority, freedom, and destroying established systems. Fans say there is not morally ambiguous justification for evil people in charge, and other factions aren't morally gray enough. Bleach is a series that is a morally gray cast, and the authority is very morally ambiguous. Fans say the main cast is not revolutionary enough. Yeah, people just want what they don't have.
I guess so.
One Piece fans in particular have this annoying habit to abuse literary terms they hear from theorists without understanding what those terms mean. There are people who think Oda planned for the story to be this long. Oda wanted to follow in Ronin Kenshin. Yeah, blah, blah. Yeah, I agree. People learn big words and they don't understand what it means.
No, absolutely. Like I'm so sick of the people who do talk about like his 30-year plan. It's like no, he said he came in with like a 5-year one for like 100 chapters, or like even a little less than 5 years for 100 chapters, but like
well I know it's like I think he said 5 years because I think that's around how long Kenshin ran. So he's like, yeah, That's how long the person I worked under ran for. I bet I could do that.
And then he was 10 years in and was like, oh, fuck, what did I get myself into?
Dude, I imagine 15 years in, he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, there's a reason
How
why
did
I
this
keep.
happen?
There's a reason why I like to keep using that George Lucas clip to describe how I think Oda's process works. You know the one. You know,
I
it's
was
like
like,
poetry, sort of it rhymes. You know, every
Yeah.
stanza kind of rhymes last one. Hopefully, it'll work because
Mhm.
he didn't plan it out, but he's doing his best and he's doing a great job so far.
Mhm. Let's see here. There's a theory that Lucci is actually Vivi's brother, and that's why he was checking on her during the reverie. The account has been with this theory since 2016, maybe. Oh, that's awesome.
But
That's
like, what do you?
awesome.
Okay, like A, what do you get out of it? B, why is the Italian man the brother of the Nefertari line? C,
Dude,
fucking.
half Italian, half Egyptian. Is this a fucking JoJo character?
That is
This
it.
is a JoJo character. What if Abdul got to live and go to Italy? Who would his descendants be? That's a JoJo character. That's literally a JoJo. Um,
Dude, what if it was Narancha?
let's fucking go. I'm gonna headcanon that. Fuck you. Actually, stop. Saying fuck you. Avdol didn't die again. He faked his death again. He's a genius. Let's see here. One Piece character tier list based on how good they would taste. That would be fun for One Piece animals.
Hmm.
We have to figure out what real life animal they're probably the closest to, and then infer how good that probably is.
Yeah, then we have to look at some of the in-universe lore. Like, has Sanji cooked with them? What has Sanji done with them?
Yes. Hmm. All right, some bad takes I've seen. All right, we got a mini list. Oda is lazy for reusing old abilities for the Rocks Pirates. Dog, it's fan service.
You know, like, it's literally like, okay, you can either give them random bullshit powers, you know, you just came up with on the spot, or you'd be like, okay, Devil Fruits, you know, have past users, so wouldn't it be like a fun little Easter egg to throw like Perona's old Devil Fruit to this one guy, and then so
Ooh,
the
Bomb Bomb
kids,
fruit.
so the people reading could be like, hey, I know that fruit, and be like, feel smart for thinking, like, you get more, like, these aren't real characters at the end of the day, they're just background characters. So the fact that you just do that is perfectly fine and adds more than just if they had random Devil Fruits.
Let's see here. Frankie being light confirmed by Oda as Queen's son makes Wano worse because they didn't interact. Yeah, because they don't give a shit about each other. Moria being a Kozuki also makes Wano bad because Odin didn't join his royal blood relative. I love this because Puff, we got this. A lot of people thought Moria was confirmed to literally be blood related to the Kozuki when, like, obviously it's vague, but like the obvious reading was that he washed up there and was then taken in by the Kozuki family. Like, obviously, it could be a Kozuki branch left, and then their kid came back, but it just, like, seems more straightforward that it's not that.
Because yeah, we don't know, so you know, I'm not gonna say anything until
But
we know.
it's just because I remember, like, a lot of YouTubers around the time were locking in he's blood related to Odin, and it was like, that's a weird thing to confidently conclude. Hot take, but I think Rock's beating the shit out of Loki isn't as bad as it seems. It absolutely is still bad, but giants have a warrior culture. He's a child.
He's
um,
just a little
uh,
boy.
he's a child.
The thing is, like, it's he
Let's
literally
see
he
here.
didn't just like beat him up and like roughhouse with him and stuff. He endangered his life. Like, he cut him open, literally. Like,
Let's
Garp
see
is bad
here.
for beating like Luffy and Ace, but at very least, like, he never endangered their life as far as we're aware. He just like punched me like, be a marine. Yeah, I'm gonna train you to be tough. Wah.
Well, no, Puff. The very easy distinction to make with One Piece violence and how bad it is like, was it slapsticky or was it violence? um. Let's see here. Uh, Rox and Roger are the same level of morality in my eyes. I don't know about that. Um,
Well, I guess, like, until we get more context for what Roger destroying that one country meant, then it's like, yeah, okay, I guess fair.
oh, I remember we got a bunch of commenters who are like, "You call Loki Shirahoshi the pedo ship, but he's 25 in giant years." It's like, yeah, that's pretty weird. Or 21 in giant years. It's like, yeah, that's pretty weird. um, let's see here. As a big Yellow fan, I think when your weird lazy tier list should be who's the best slash worst social drinker for any media. That could be funny.
Well, that could be funny.
um, please, please, please put the game's names on the description. You do never let people know what game you're playing.
I've been trying to do it for the past few ones. I
Okay.
hope.
You must have forgotten at least once. What do we got here?
Hold on, what do I use for this lace one? It's Infinifactory. Okay,
Yeah, it really is in the last week. All I've seen is Twitter fandom complaining about dumb shit.
Oh my god!
Because the way
Okay,
the
I
tweet-
did put it, but I put the wrong game title.
Wait,
I put
wait,
Factorio instead of Infinifactory.
You're so smart. All right, what do we have here? A whole analysis on Yonji as a character based on the idea that he's the only sibling to style his hair like the clone soldiers. Dude, that's awesome. That's such a good point.
Yeah, man.
Dude, and he has the most generic power. No, that's they're cooking with that. That's awesome.
I like to think that, like, he didn't get along as well with, like, Niji and Ichiji, so he'd sometimes hang out with the clones and be like, okay,
I
Mr.
absolutely believe that.
Prince.
Like he's like, father, Ichiji and Niji are training with their lightning and their lasers. What should I do? And Judge is like, well, you just have an extendo arm. I don't know. And he's like, okay. So he just goes and does military training with the clones.
It's like, hey, when do you guys get your hair done? It's like, oh, it's just stuck like this permanently. We don't get to change our hair.
Oh yeah, Puff. Make sure to put a spoiler warning if you release this before the chapter drops, since we did talk about the TCB translations.
Alrighty.
Some people pointed out that we were confused about Garp's motivation at the end of that one chapter, because he said who will protect the Marines. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? And then Viz says who would protect the rank and file, and I think like the lower ranks was like the more common translation. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
It's like, oh, he has this dumb idea that because like, Garp's whole thing is protect the young, fuck the old.
Yeah.
I remember someone pointed out that another way Morge and Hot Boy Spicy are opposite is their fight piece brains, because Morge was legitimately shocked that all of his God Valley matchup theories didn't happen. He's like, there weren't any fights in my flashback. I thought Rayleigh was gonna fight Shiki for Shaki's honor. Oh, here we go. We got one that said, now we know Garp has been aware of Emu this whole time. How do you think this reframes Garp's actions during Marineford? And I said, can you expand on that? Because I was confused. Yeah, so we can see that Garp's understanding of position on the military is protector of the rank and file. It seems that he has his own sense of justice based on this, and acts more on that than on orders. With this in mind, how does him not stepping up to save Ace fit with his philosophy? It's because, did he think that stepping up he'd be stopped or attacked by Emu? I don't know if he didn't want to be there. He told Sengoku to hold him down. So did he stop out of fear of Eam or a sense of justice? Potentially fear of Eam could be that, but it's as simple. Yes, Garp ideally wants to raise a good next generation of Marines, but also he's been trying that for like 40 years to minimal success. Because also the other thing is Garp is just, whether he wants to admit it or not, the military's bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
And this was an example. He was defending the military's right to execute Ace because they don't like his dad. And he defended their right to do that. And then he deeply regretted it immediately after it happened.
Yeah, it's just like his conflicting priorities between, like, okay, my sense of justice to, be my dedication to be a Marine and, to protect the lower ranks, and also if I go against this, I can lose my position entirely if I, try and save Ace or something. And so there it is.
Oh, we do get funny things here.
I do
Let's
think
see
it like
here.
it does like kind of a funny way now that we know what some of Garp's like long-term goals are, or like I guess we don't like know for sure, but we can guess that it is like to raise a cooler generation of Marines. It must have been super frustrating for him to see Aokiji lose against Sakazuki. Be like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
fuck! I was really banking on him becoming the next fleet admiral. Shit, this is not good.
Yeah, no, because that is part of his thing, is just because that's the beauty of it. He says he wants to protect the rank and file and wants to raise a good generation of Marines, but every time he actually personally trains or befriends a Marine, they seem to leave, dragging crews on stall. I feel like the Garp stuff is getting unbelievably overblown. I'm as liberal as the next guy, but to say that Garp protecting those who get indoctrinated into the system is a bad thing is crazy to me. Well, he doesn't seem to do that. I think it puts even more perspective on Marineford and his actions there. The conviction you gotta have to not save Ace in that moment.
You do need conviction.
It was obviously killing him, and he saw what he saw and probably knew he couldn't step out of line. I will say, he did step out of line. He let Luffy get past him. I
guess you could say like, well, he did it in a way where like he had plausible deniability where he let Luffy punch him. He didn't
plausible deniability, as in literally after the war, Sengoku's like, oh, so you're weaker than your kid without Haki, huh? Fuck you.
No, I just used up all my hockey fighting, Marco. I'm sorry.
I will say the one thing that's very conflicting me about all that is that he wanted Luffy and Ace to join the Marines. Maybe he wanted to keep his family as close to him as possible. He thinks the Marines are the ruling system and that the best way to protect them is to have them in the system. The convictions. Oh yeah, and I said then I said the convictions of he can't save Ace because what if Emu decides to attack Helmeppo? If I save Ace, he'll go after the rank and file.
Dude, it's a trolley problem. Does he save Ace or does he save Helmeppo from Eve?
Let's see here. Shiki Ace was cast because he shows up in Drum Island, silly. No, but hasn't Drum already been filmed? Like, was he cast a while ago and they only announced it recently? Because, like, I assume Drum was filmed a fucking while ago. One thing is the most recent chapter that you didn't talk about was Garp telling his subordinates to get every living resident and sailor on board. Yeah, I will never deny that Garp wants to save people. Yeah. Obviously, he does.
Yeah, as far as Marines go, Garp's one of the best ones.
Anyone defending Garp's positions of protecting new blood should explain to me how Garp not becoming fleet admiral helps Marines. That's the other part of the conflict, is it's like, okay, if you actually want to be Mr. Fix the System from within, why aren't you Fujitora? I actually love.
I think like it's just like it might just be partly because like he doesn't want to get too close to the social dragons because like all right like like I know I'm supposed to get in with them but like if I get in with them do I suddenly get black magic and they can get their tendrils in me?
I think it's also part of his like freedom sense of like
obviously he likes
it's
not
so
having
hard. Like, yeah, it's so hard for him. Like, Garp is in a position where his childlike idea of what a Marine is, his desire to be free, and then the fact that he has to, then the fact that he doesn't like the king of slavery, who is his boss, is really difficult with him. Actually, he doesn't know Eam is the king of slavery. He thinks Eam is some weird shadow demon that the Gorosei can summon on command. He has it backwards. Shown a protagonist ranked on whether they would be a pirate, marine, or revolutionary. That's funny because Naruto would be a marine.
He would be a marine.
I don't know. Let's see. A question for Shiki and Puff. If One Piece was rewritten so that Luffy had a reoccurring rogues gallery, like in a lot of superhero comics, which of the canon villains that do you think would be in his rogues gallery? Probably the ones that already reoccur. Like Teach,
Buggy.
Smoker, and Crocodile. Like Buggy, number one, and then like Teach, Smoker, maybe Crocodile. The ones that already reoccur. I'm lazy.
Yeah, I don't have an interesting answer to that question. Just what he said.
What do you guys think of the horrible, in my opinion, Lucci take? That the reason Lucci is evil is because he was groomed and brainwashed by the world government, as in Lucci's Tomura Shigaraki to the world government's All for One. I think it's a horrible take also. Yes, he was groomed into this. He left to an undercover mission for 5 years beyond any influence. Yeah, but he was an adult by then. I would say that all of CP9 is absolutely groomed to be okay in pro-murder. Because, like, Puff, I don't want to say it's definitely happening because I'm worried I imagined it, but isn't there a scene where all of CP9 like heads out and they all kind of imply they like doing killing a little bit?
I remember there's the scene where Lucci says like, "All we want is blood," and then they all just kind of follow him out of the room.
But yeah,
And
that's what I was
leave
thinking of.
Spondum.
It's that.
So
It's like that kind of like implies they all like killing to a degree. But yes, Lucci obviously likes killing the most. And part of that is probably personality. Part of that is probably his fucking devil fruit. Like, again, it's not just devil fruit because Jabra has it too and is nothing like Lucci. He's a lazy sack of shit. Yeah, basically, like Lucci, has a violent disposition. But if he was raised in a normal place, he'd probably just be like a guy who's more likely to get into fights than the average person.
Yeah, let's say he was
is.
raised on Fuchsia Village along with Luffy, Ace, and Sub. He'd probably be like, if I become a Marine, can I kill pirates? And it's like, well, sometimes. And like, all right, that's good enough. And then he'll be like an okay-ish Marine that's just very brutal against evil pirates.
because it's like, yeah, he was obviously groomed to a degree, but yeah, obviously he's more violent than like Who's Who or Kaku or Jabba or anyone else that was raised in the same system as him. So yes, part of it is Lucci specific.
Yeah.
The Yamato cover story just finished. What do you guys think of it? I talked about it a lot. I like that Yamato mirrored Odin's story while also being the good version of Kaido. I think that's cool.
What he said.
Let's see. Yeah, we've been talking about it for months because the cover story's been going for months, and our opinion hasn't really changed on it. Oh, the Straw Hat flag potentially being missing at the end of it. That may have just been Oda forgot, but if he didn't, that is potentially neat.
Yeah.
Someone brought up good point, Puff, which they said one of the things I like about the live action is Mihawk meeting Shanks. I agree. That was really funny. That was a really funny scene, actually. I liked it a lot. Do you remember that scene?
Kinda.
It's no, well, let me find it. It's super funny. Oh no, he said I could fight you with one arm tied behind my back and grabs his empty sleeve. It's like, yeah, okay, that's good. That's a good interaction. That was good. I like that. That was funny. That feels like something Shanks would do.
Yeah, okay, that's a nice line.
Let's see here. Eam and the girls say God's Knights are kind of growing on me. At first, I thought Eam was bland and stupid. But yeah, the more you learn about them, the funnier they get because you remember they're One Piece characters and they're all silly little guy.
Yep, at the end of the day, everyone's just a silly little guy. Even Rob Lucci.
Yeah, I'm not caught up to One Piece. I'm close though. When I get really lost on something, I look at the Reddit. Almost every post comments is people always moaning about the series and how it's bad now. Are you on Pirate Folk and not the regular Reddit?
I don't know. I haven't been to the regular Reddit in a while. Maybe it's like
I think it's like pretty mixed, like most Reddits. Also, like manga fans are the most unhappy people on the planet. I'm gonna just say that is true. All right, that's that.
Alrighty,
so good old classic bad One Piece opinion.
Yep, so JoJo's next week, unless you
JoJo?
somehow miraculously still don't finish it by then.
That would be absurd. If that's happening, bad things are happening in my life. Like bad things are stopping me at every twist and turn.
But how many chapters do you have left? Like 20? 15?
No, I had more than I thought because the site I was on didn't actually list all the volumes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like ahead of me for a while, so I assumed you were near the end.
Was, but then I got busy. Let me think here. What was the all right, so we'll do part 8 and then after that I have no idea. Maybe we'll start another series. Maybe we'll do a dumb tier list. Who knows?
Maybe I'll finally do that depressing sounding idea of me just talking about Fire Emblem by myself for like 40 minutes.
Do that.
I don't want to do that.
Maybe
but like I promise. I remember I promised at some point in one of these, like I'll make a dumb tier list when I finish playing.
I don't know how many people are looking forward to that. Maybe we'll do It'd be funny if you waited until every cult member played like different Fire Emblem games, and then you keep transitioning us out through the list.
Oh no, I thought about doing that for Sonic games, but it was just like, okay, it's like 90% Addy, and then just one Chaz and Mocha, I think.
And then I've played Sonic Colors. And then all right, so we'll do that, and then I don't know, maybe we'll read new series. Who's to say? Maybe we'll work on that How to Train Your Dragon slideshow because we are gonna do that.
Right, that thing.
Warning about the slideshow: we are not watching the new series. I refuse.
What? You don't want
I
to watch
refuse.
the Hiccup's Descendant and the Nightlight go and save
No, I don't want to
the
watch.
future or whatever?
Puff. We watched one episode and hated it so much, and then you're like, "Let's try one more," and I gave up like 7 minutes, and I was like, "No, I can't."
Yeah, I was really just holding out, hoping there'd be like Hiccup glazing somewhere, just so I could be like, I'm so
That's
happy for my
definitely at
boy.
the end of the season.
Yeah. So anyway, good night.
Yep. Goodbye.